Hello, everyone. How are you? We're back again. We continue the conversation. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's my phone, my camera, or it's the internet. But in any case, we're back. Thank you. If you're joining us again, I understand if you're not able to, it's getting late. But please join us if you can. And wait, we have another interesting conversation going on here. We're continuing this conversation. Hello, MJ. Thank you so much for joining, and all the others that have joined. Can you please share so that the rest of the people can come back? Because there's another discovery that we think that you guys should hear and be blessed with, because we've been blessed in the short time that we've had the interruption. There's another conversation that we continued on, and it's really, really interesting. So, join us. Hello, Fisayo. Omonike, hello. How are you? Thank you for joining. Please share this so that other people can come on board. Amara Lee, thank you so much for joining. So, keep sharing, guys. Keep sharing. I'm going to arrest you guys now. Ayodele. Yeah. Why are you going to arrest us? Huh? What have we done? Are you a police officer? So thank you, Afolabi, for joining. Thank you so much. You can see in my voice, I'm extremely tired, but I can't go to sleep because this next conversation is even more interesting, and I think it pertains to a lot of family relationships, and somebody will be blessed by it and actually liberated, because I am slowly being liberated by this discussion, these discoveries, this information. So join us. Keep sharing, please. Uriyomi, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So please share this, and so that we can get the numbers back as it was before we had the interruption. Flora, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, thank you. So we were having another conversation when the camera interrupted, and we went off from the first session, and this conversation, I put part 2. Okay, I'll change the title. Can somebody change it for me, please? Thank you. So change it to, okay, I think we changed this one to what we're going to discuss, taking about names. So name to take after. Okay, yeah, that's a good one, actually. Yes, should a lady change a name because a last name because of marriage? So our conversation was what happened, because you remember DSA was telling us that during the wedding day, when the priest was saying that the wife has to submit, well, not submit, that's not the actual word. Hi, Paul, thank you. Where the husband have to be the head and the woman have to take the man's name, he quickly said to the priest that it's okay, I don't mind which name is taken, and I don't want to be the head. We can be equal if that's what she wants, because he really wanted to marry her, really wants to be with her. And then we continued the conversation with what happened with the name, whose name was taken at the end and what happened. And he gave us the account of that. So we thought we'll share that with you. So the more people that comes on, the quicker we can get started. Ayodele said he's not a police officer. Oh, thank you, because he said you would arrest us, because we're arresting you. We can't get you to sleep, right? That's like me. I'm actually feeling sleepy right now, but I can't go. I really need to hear this whole story. So I'm still here. Tula, thank you. How are you? Fisayo, good to be with you. Much love. We love you too, Fisayo, and miss you already. Can't wait for the next time you come over. Tatiana, thank you so much for joining. How are you, Tatiana? It's been a while. Solomon, thank you for joining. Ever curious, Mayowa. Yes, so is it Pastor Solomon? I'm so curious to the extent that I'm sleeping inside me right now, but I can't go to bed. I have to listen to all this to the end. Welcome back, everybody. I've pardoned you guys. I salute my father, DSA, for giving light into our world. Thank you, Ayodele. Thank you. Daniel Sanga, nice to be back. Thank you, Daniel. Monique, hello. How are you? Hope you're all right. So we're going to get started. Please share this so that others can come back and just finish so that we can finish the story. This part I think is really interesting because I know that this issue with regards to names, which person's name you take, having a double barrel name has really caused a lot of problems in family, in relationship, and even not even in the two people that got married is not a problem, but other people like onlookers, family relatives, they really have a go on they have a go at the woman and even the man for being weak if his name is not taken. I know quite a lot of pastors expect you to take they even preach it that the woman has to take the man's name and blah blah blah, all those things. So I think it's a really good a discussion for us to have. So let me read what Innocent is saying. It seems like it's interesting. Women and men have different needs. I think this topic should be addressed properly. There are many misguided opinions about all these feminine things. Yes, but we're not even talking about that. It's just unfortunate that the feminine came in and they just don't want to be pampered, or they're talking about men being pampered, you know, so maybe another issue would address it, but that's really not what we were talking about. We're just talking about dress and how Dr. Sunday picked out a dress and before he even met his wife, and then I don't know how we got to being the feminists. Yes, yes, I'm just going back to what Innocent is saying. Okay, sir. Innocent, women and men. Okay, I've read that, Innocent. Hello, Elizabeth. How are you? Welcome back. Okay. So we're going to start now. Guys, so can you share, please? I can listen to PSA to tomorrow. That's a Monica that is saying that. I love the name of God. No worries. Oh, sorry. You see, I'm gone. I love this man of God. No worries. Sleep will never come now until I'm no more interested. Yeah, well, sleep is coming, but I'm fighting the sleep. But well done to you, Monica. Like, sleep will not come until you're no more interested. Well done. I wish I can have the same type of spirit, but I'm going to stay put as well until we finish this, because I really think this is important. And if we leave it tomorrow, until tomorrow, we might not capture it in the same way, in the same spirit. So that's why we're back. We live to serve you, and we serve you well. So thank you again for joining. So please, please, please share so that others can come. Give blessing to Amos. Thank you for coming back. Please share this. Paul, thank you so much. Network here. Yes, I'm not even sure what the problem was, but we're back now. As DSA said, we're moving forward. So let's go. We've got a new topic. The title there is going to change. This new title is changed already. Okay, so what's the new title?
Should lady change her name when she gets married?
Okay, so the new title is Should a Lady Change her Name when she gets married? Then, Davida, welcome. You're just joining us. I didn't see you in the previous session. So go and check the previous video out. When you finish with this, you will really be blessed. So, are you ready, sir? You ready?
No, people have to talk about this. So now explain the situation.
What we talk about.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start the way we started with the previous session, which is asking questions. Yes. Asking the individuals in this room questions about how they feel.
Yeah, what the priest said and what happened there. You tell the story. Okay.
When we went off, the discussion went the following way. We found out that there was more story than what we had before. When Pastor Sunday and Pastor Bosse was getting married, when it was wedding procedure, what is the name of this?
When?
Ceremony.
Ceremony, yeah. At this point, they were asked. No, priest said that now you are Mrs. and Mr. Adelaja. And at that point, Pastor Sunday, he saw that Pastor Bosa, she was not very happy with hearing this. So his focus was not on his own feeling or what was the tradition. You know, tradition is to take, lady has to take the name of the husband when she gets married. But when this was, when priest announced this, Pastor Sunday saw that Pastor Bosa was not very excited about this. So his focus was not on him, but on her. So he saw that she was not happy. So he didn't afraid, you know, to say at this moment that no, we are not going to take follow this tradition. If my wife wants to take her name, her father's name, she will remain with her name. And even Pastor said that he was also ready to take her name. And this is against tradition, and most of you know this, that lady, she don't have even choice, you know, she usually has to agree with this tradition and just forget about the surname that she had for maybe 25 years, and everything that was connected with this surname, her family, her father, you know, everything, or family, you know, a story and everything had to be just forgotten when she gets married. So because Pastor Bosa loved her father so much, Pastor Sunday saw that she wasn't very happy, and he was ready to not follow this tradition. And he said that you know what, you can keep your name. And I was really impressed by this. Not because Pastor Sunday he gave freedom to his wife, because I know Pastor Sunday a little bit, and I understand that his priority was to make wife happy, not himself happy. But the fact that Pastor Sunday said this in front of the priest when there was already a ceremony, you know, everything is decided. There is already a pattern that is decided for 100 years. In our minds, you cannot change it. And suddenly, Pastor Sunday, he was just himself. He said, no, we're not going to follow this tradition, just because he saw his wife was not happy. So I was really impressed. And I think the priest, he even woke up, because he was just going, following this pattern. He was doing like automatic stuff. And suddenly, he just heard, no, we're not. Even the word no there is not acceptable, you know. You cannot say this. You're not allowed, you know. So Pastor Sunday, he was out of this box. And what I understood is because his focus was not on himself. So he wasn't afraid to go against this tradition. Because people, human, are more important than tradition. And I was excited with this. And maybe someone can share what was the story finally, who took which surname, or I can continue. Okay, I will
He can say it himself. Sir, can you please? Let's say the mystery that is here.
Let me continue. Maybe someone will join later. So what happened is that the decision was taken the following. Pastor Bosa, she kept her surname, and Pastor Sunday kept his surname. So this is how they went, and this was continuing until Pastor Bosa decided to change her surname, to add surname Adelaja. And the reason she decided to add to her surname Dera, she decided to add Adelaja, is because she was pressed, let's say, by society, because anywhere she was going with children, anywhere she was going with children, they were asking some kind of confirmation that she was their mother, because children had the surname Adelaja. And this is how she felt the need to have this surname, and she added a surname. So she was given freedom. And what we are discussing is that most of us, most of ladies, they are not given this freedom. So they have to forget about all these years and part of their life that they had with this surname that was given when they was born.
Anyone else?
I think that's what she was saying.
Okay.
So, what was it that was interesting to you people about this?
I think what was interesting the most for me was that Pastor Bose actually kept her name, and at first, so that's not something that would be considered, especially after he demonstrated the fact that he is not interested in making her accept his name and all of that. Like, he proved on numerous occasions that his only desire was for her basically to be happy and to marry her and to be together with her. And if she wanted whatever else she wanted, he was fine with it. So she still insisted on keeping her name. And for me personally, that's something that was quite astonishing. So, yeah.
Well, did she insist? She preferred to.
She preferred, yeah.
She had a choice.
She did exactly. She didn't have to fight, and she chose the option that was there for her. So that's it shows that actually he's right in what he said. That it was not just a story that he would let her choose whatever she wants, but she actually did, and it was fine with them. So.
What I also think is about what she wants.
Yeah.
She knows what she wanted, and what she wanted was to keep her name. Yeah. And what she wanted was based on the fact that she had a good relationship with her father. She loved her father, and probably she loved her identity, the fact that she was always having a name, and she wanted to keep her name. And I could tell that, I could see that, I could notice that. So since I noticed that, and I wanted her to be happy, I don't want to live with a woman that would live with me and she would not be totally and completely happy. Because in my own understanding, marriage is to make her much more happier than she was. So if anything I'm going to do or in our marriage is going to make her less happy, for me, in my mind, there is no logic in her going forward with that marriage if she's going to be less happy than she was before I met her. I don't see any logic in that. So the marriage has to make her better happy, much more happier. It has to add to her, not make her miserable. And if I notice that something is making her uncomfortable, and what was making her uncomfortable is something that I could do something about to make her more happier, it's just a joy to do it. So when I saw that when the priest said she has to change her name, I think she was not very happy about it. Maybe she wanted to keep her name or something. So actually she wanted to add my name and her name. She wanted to keep her name and my name. But I told her, no, if you want, I can not just keep your name. So I was telling the priest, she should not just only keep her name, but if she wants, I could take her name. Just to make her happy.
Someone just said DSA is an unusual man.
That's what you said before.
Yes, you are.
So I was just ready to do anything to make her happy. So I was saying, if necessary, I will take your name. So the priest said, no, let her just keep her name. Okay, then. So what we did, the first few years of our marriage, she just kept her name and I kept mine. But when we started having children, that became another problem, because to go and get a visa, to go and travel, to all kind of papers and documents, she always needed to prove that she's the same name, that she is Bose Dere and I am her husband and that we're the same person. So she had to go and change it because of the children have my name and she had a different name. it all kind of. So now she's using Bose Dere, that's her last name, Dere Adelaja.
Wonderful. Anything else someone has to say?
Yeah, she was.
You know, I heard it when I heard it first time. I could not. I never even thought. I knew there is like a tradition to take a name after you get married, and I easily did it when I was getting married. But the fact that Pastor Bossi, she was not happy about this, so much happy about this, makes me think that she was a personality,
Yep.
and she
knew
who she was.
Yep.
Because I started to understand that I have given my name, gave away my name, you know, and I started to understand maybe after 10 years of marriage when I started to become a personality. And Pastor Bose, she was already conscious about herself. She was already, Pastor, can I have it because I'm coughing? Because she was conscious about herself, and this is a lesson for me. After this, I started to think, okay, what's in the name? What is in the surname? Why keeping it? Why it's so important? And well, if my parents, they were given years of their work and their life to raise me up, and I think they would like to have they would like me, my children, and all other siblings to have their surname. And what they are doing, my parents, they are sacrificing themselves when they're given, when they are allowing me to change my name. I never thought about this, and I never thought that someone can be even hurt by this. Like, for example, my father, he could be hurt by this because his surname is not longer continuing. And this is what Pastor Bosa, she was understanding. And I was like, you know, just going with the pattern. Change the name, okay, no problem. You know, and many people are like this. My cousin, recently, she got married. She got married, just, you know, she met this guy, and in 2 months she decided to get married. She changed her name to another surname of person she knows 2 months. What's in this name? What is in this name? She's taken the name of another family that she doesn't know any history of this family. She cannot even be proud of this surname. You know, maybe even if you know the story of this name, you can be even ashamed of having this name, you know? So there is a lot of things in the name. And this tradition, the going against the tradition, is a challenge. It was challenge. But many people not even thinking about this. Like, we are going just with the tradition. We all are just agree with the tradition, and we are not asking ourselves why the tradition is like this. So this is what I think.
Any other insight?
I want to contribute. I personally think the reason why I already told you the reason why I personally was taking the decision for my wife to keep her name, and if necessary for me to also take her name. But I was more happy that I had to keep my name, because if I had taken her name, I had to explain to my family and everything. So I was happy when, you know, she said, no, I don't need to take her name. And she took her name, and I took my own. So I was happy, 50-50, nothing is lost. But the reason why I did that is she's happy and I'm happy. But if anybody was supposed to sacrifice anything, I was ready to sacrifice. I didn't want that to be the one sacrifice, because because she was by herself, and I'm the one who is taking. I'm the one who asked her, come marry me. So she shouldn't be the one to pay the price. I should pay the price.
So there is
I'm
no
taking
price.
her. I'm taking her. So, but later on, I didn't think about anything more than that, about that tradition, that time. But now, by growing up, that time I was 27. But now, when I'm 47 and I'm going to 50 now, I started to question the idea of a woman changing her name after when she goes to marry. I think Pastor Bosse was very right, and she was a deep thinker. She was very thoughtful. And for example, my daughters now, or even right now, I'm seeing Caroline Shoronke here. She's been Caroline Shoronke all her life. Can you imagine what a shock that is to the system? Not just to our system, but to even all the system where her name had been registered before. For her, just because she married, she has to cancel the history, that name that has followed her for the first 25 years of her life or 20 years of her life, and totally erase it. You never existed. I don't think that is justifiable, and I don't think that's the best thing. For example, I cannot imagine my daughters right now marrying and then they just forget Adelaja name. For me, they will ever remain Adelaja. So for me, Pearl will always be Pearl Adelaja. Zoe will always be Zoe Adelaja. So because the marriage doesn't change anything to me. So, and I'm going to be very discouraged, and I'm not going to be very happy if they marry and they just throw away Adelaja name. I'm actually going to, I think they will not do that. If I know them very well, I think they will not do it. And I would not advise anybody to do it. Unless you don't have relationship with your father, or you don't have relationship with your father's household, and they don't mean anything to you. But if that name means anything to you, I don't know how you can do that so easily. So you could understand Pastor Bosse, because she had very strong relationship with her father. So I understand, I respect her, that she will not be ready to throw away that name like that. So she keeps it up to now. She carries her name. I am Dere. I am Bosse Dere. She is her personality. I don't give her personality. She had a personality before me. I liked what I saw. She was somebody before I met her. And I married what I liked. So how can I, it's not even fair from my side as a husband to tell her just throw away the name of the parents. Because the parents made her who she became. That family name is what I saw. So I don't want her to throw it away. Because they invested everything to her. And they made her who they are. So I didn't invest anything to her. How can she just take my name? She can take it if she wants as extra, but she shouldn't lose anything. She can take it as additional like now, but she shouldn't lose it. So I'm not the type that will just swallow the tradition because everybody does it. So that's the way that's why I couldn't read till I was 10. Because in primary school, I couldn't read. Everybody was telling me, read Papa. I said, Papa? It's not Papa. I said, why not Papa? I said, because I is supposed to always come before P. Because when you taught me alphabet, you said A, B, C, D. You said, that is A, B, C, D. It's supposed to be the first one. They said, no, but it's not. I said, how? But P is all the back, all the way from there. Then also I said, also it's not Papa. How can it be Papa when you say it is A, B, C, A, B, C, A. So if it is A, why Papa? It should be Pep. It's not I, it's A. There was no I here. In this whole alphabet, there is no R. You understand?
Yeah. There's no R, there's
Yeah.
no B.
Yeah.
There is no R, there is no B. There is
There's
A,
Papa. They
there
say,
is B and,
yeah.
and P, but not P and R.
yeah. No, they even say P. Okay, P. They call it in English P. So P, Papa. But A is totally different from R.
The sound is different. A, R.
Yeah, that's the A, B, C is A. It's not R. So anyway, so I don't just swallow anything people say they should do. So why should, so there is, so until I was 10 years old, I couldn't read because I couldn't just understand. Everybody was telling me this is the way to do it, but you tell me yesterday it was A, B, and now you tell me it's R. So who do I believe? So it's just a lot of, so because of that, I just discovered that it's my, people were thinking I was dull. That they were beating me, you are dull, you cannot read, you cannot. It was only when I was 10 years old that I just decided to go with the flow and I began to read because I was doing everything they were doing. But in life, my brain is still wants to find out, work, question everything. So I am asking that question, why should a woman just go ahead and get rid of a name she had carried for 20 years just because she met me? What about if she divorces me now? She has to change again? Or she has to look for another name?
Or she change names every time she gets married.
Yes, or she has to change name every time she gets married. So if she is going to go back to that name, why did she throw it away before? Then what happens when she gets it back? I think we're just playing like with a human life as if it's nothing.
Then there's also the challenge of the society, how society have labeled everything. There's also the challenge of the society because DSA also said that she had to have a double barrel name eventually because of the children. Dr. Sunday also said that she had to have Pastor Bosse had to change her name and had his surname to her name because of the children. Society have set it up in such a way that women can't even make that decision without having challenges today life with passport, with processing information. So eventually we had to change the name. So even if you don't want to, you would have to end up changing the name. Is it okay?
It's vibrating, it's blurring.
Switch the camera and then switch it back.
You did.
You better?
Okay. It's good.
Yeah. So what I was just saying is that Pastor Bosse has to change her name eventually because society wouldn't even allow you. Society have set you up in such a way that you have to take the name in marriage. You can't even be a personality. So you have to make a conscious decision or always have the challenge, especially when you have children, of how you're going to explain yourself, how you're going to deal with things when you're traveling. Are you traveling with your children? Can you prove that they're your children? All these things. So we need to start really thinking in a way that we can be individual and still love and respect each other. It's a big lesson for me. I think personally, I've even been brainwashed to the extent that I couldn't wait in the past to get rid of my father's name. I'm one of those people. I couldn't wait to get, not because I really care so much about marriage, but it was mostly because I just couldn't wait to I just wanted to get rid of my father's name. And it's not like I hate my father, but I've been brainwashed to think that it is an honor to take somebody else's name rather than to be comfortable with my own name, with my father's name, and to honor my father and to be proud of it. So if I've reached a certain age, if I don't take my father's name, if I don't take another man's name, that I haven't actually succeeded in life. So I was thinking I couldn't wait to change the name to the extent where even certain things I wouldn't put my last name on it because, like emails, I wouldn't put my last name on my email. Yeah, well, my name is Verity. But emails, for example, I wouldn't write Mayowa or Laya as my email because I'm thinking, I'm going to have to change my email if I get married, So I started thinking in that way, you know, in a way that is systematic, is a systematic way. And it's interesting, yes, if you have a good relationship with your father, yes, you want to keep the name, but there's so many people as well that don't have a good relationship. But that shouldn't be the reason why you don't keep the name. It's just, it's a name that you've been carrying for so many years. You should feel comfortable with that name without having to just want to jump to change the name. And actually, recently, my sister's been married a couple of times, and she had to change her name each time from the married name for the different husband's name. And the last husband, she said that I'm not changing my name. And I was one of those people that said to her that, yeah, what she's doing is wrong. You know, I think tomorrow I'm going to give her a call, because I was saying that she had to change her name to her husband's name, because they've been married now for a few years and she didn't change her name. She said she can't be bothered because every time you're changing names and all that. And I spoke to her, I think it was December, saying that she should change it, that it would make her husband feel bad and all that, without actually thinking about how my sister feels about all this, even though she explained that she doesn't like changing her name so many times. And what if this relationship doesn't work? And I gave her all this talk about, you know, she has to be optimistic, that's the right thing, why did you marry him, blah, blah, blah. I was just talking like a biomass, the way that I've been what's this word, conditioned to think without actually thinking myself what I want to do. You know, why would I want to change the name? So it's really interesting to have this conversation this evening. It's been an eye-opener for me. And I'll continue to think about what I'm going to do if I ever get married.
But I have one comment about this. What, if sister doesn't want to change from the name of previous husband, you know, the question is what value is in this name?
No, she changed from the previous husband to a maiden name. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So she changed from her previous husband to our father's name, but she didn't want to change to her new husband's name. But they're not new anymore. It's been a few years now. So I was saying, why is she doing that? You know, and then she said, oh, I don't want to because, you know, I've been married twice already and I've had to change my name all the time. It's just a waste of time. I don't want to do it. And then I asked her, what does your husband think? She said, oh, he doesn't really like it, but he doesn't say anything. So I gave her all this big speech about why she has to change, is this, blah, 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 you know, without knowing what I'm talking about, really. So it's just interesting to have this conversation. But as good as Dr. Sunday has mentioned this and said these things, even society doesn't make it easy. You know, at some point, you can't just keep your name. You have to also, especially when you have children, you also have to add. So we have to be policy changes as well, you know, where if there's any other way that you can prove that these are your children, you should be able to prove it as a woman without having to attach a man's name. So it's not just about, you know, this conversation, and it's more about changing policies, making it acceptable for women to have their name, or even children to have both names instead of...
But I don't see anything bad in that, though. In the fact that Pastor Bosse had to add my name. Because she's doing that now for the children's sake, and then for the sake of the rest of her life. So for her, that's not a loss, because she still kept the very name that she had originally, nothing changed. But the fact that she added my name is just saying that she now has additions in her life. And the addition, she's reflecting it. So she's not just having one part, she's reflecting her fullness. So the old name she had, her personality, and the new identity she's having now, she's also needs it because she's going to be living with me. If she lived with her parents just 25 years, she's going to be living with this new name, this identity, for the next 50 years of her life. So that 50 years also has to be reflected. And then that 50 years goes along with the children. So the children also, you know, because of her, she wants to identify with her children. That's why she added my name to it. So she's a winner. She's win-win for her.
But it goes even farther because she also writes books.
Yeah.
And it goes, it's going to be going beyond her life.
Yeah.
So it means that she leaves this name in the history.
Yeah.
And also
In the name of her father.
Yeah,
and
the name of her
husband.
father and husband, yeah.
So what's your own feeling about this whole thing? What you just said?
So I think it's like Mario says, it's quite an eye opener, because I used to think about couples and married couples especially who kept both their last names, and I was thinking, why are they not, having the same last name, or why is the woman not taking on the last name of the man, especially? And I would think that this was some sort of rebellious,
Spirit.
rebellious, independent,
Religious.
feminism kind of, attitude of women, and quite religious, really. Like my understanding of this was very religious, and I thought this is a given. You just have to do it because that's what you do. Exactly. And my mom did it, and actually my mother. Well, my story is a bit different anyway, but in general, this is how. How everybody does it. So I didn't even question it. And now that Pastor spoke about it, I thought, wow, it's not just about, me keeping my last name, but it's also part of your identity that you're taking with you. And if you think about all the years that this name has been with you and has made you, and you're just abandoning it from one day to the other, I didn't even think that deep. So even when I was talking about the fact that Pastor Bose had the two options and she picked this, I didn't actually think about what kind of meaning this actually has. And so for me, I don't know what I will do, but I will definitely think about it better. I will know that I will take a conscious decision in obtaining my name or taking over someone else's. So there are things we think are not important, or are insignificant, or just small, and we just do whatever, but it means so much. And I'm just very grateful that we touched on this topic, and that I got to learn more about my own identity as well, and what actually my last name means to me, or should mean to me. So
Wonderful. Anybody else?
Your mom is sitting right there.
Yeah, this is absolutely a wonderful topic to me. It sounds like what's in a name. How important is this name, that we have. I just like the way that Pastor Sunday was able to explain, the reason why Pastor Bosse took the action of keeping her father's name. And it was due to the fact of the love that she had so much for her father. And it was good to know that Pastor Sunday had definitely much understanding of that, and was acceptable to him for her to do so. And just like everybody said, as much as she tried, society still came in, but the important thing is that she tried long enough to keep that name and add her, Pastor Sunday's name to it later on. And, this topic, I was hoping my husband would come on, because when we got married, I kept my name for a very long time, and what made me change my name was trying to get my American citizenship, and I had no choice but to just change it to, my husband's name, Sharonke. But
Why did that matter?
the immigration papers, because whatever name you put down for your immigration, your citizenship, that would basically be what you would have throughout. To change it, would take another few other things to do. So it, just seemed at that particular time that I should just go ahead and do the change. But by the time I did do the change, though, basically, even till today, things still come up in my maiden name. Like today, Mayowa was helping me with my phone, and I kept on putting there that my name was Caroline Sharonke. And finally, she asked me a question, and she said, "Oh, looks like I see Caroline. I did bad your hair." And I'm like, "What?" It's like that's still hanging around, But what I also wanted to pick out for you to show you also, there are men of God out there, and you're not going to be able to detect them physically. You're really going to have to be in tune with the Lord. And like Pastor Sunday has been telling us, that he took instructions from the Lord as concerning how everything happened to him and Pastor Boston. And I can say the same kind of thing for me and my husband, because I didn't know how my husband really felt, even though he wasn't against me keeping my name, until when my father came and he met my father for the first time. And my dad wanted to give us a few things, a few property, and my dad was excited that he now had a son. I mean, he was just like, really happy. And so when he approached my husband and he told my husband that, he was going to give it to us and it was going to be under his name, my husband said no. My husband said, no, let everything still be under her name, under your name. And so I asked him about it, and he just told me that, you know what, your father, you're very close to your father. You were the only child of your dad for many, many years, and he just feels like the right thing is that he should continue his legacy through me in that way. That he didn't want any of his name to be on any of the documents. And for me, that was just something peculiar, that I really hadn't heard that too many men would do that. My father was upset. He was upset for some years until he realized that my husband was serious about that. So the question, like I said in the beginning, is what is in a name? From everything that I'm hearing today from Pastor Sunday and the action that Pastor Bosse took, shows me that all of us, we should think twice about our last name and find out how we can keep it, how we can keep the legacies of both sides of our family continuing. Don't erase one for the other. Keep both, especially for ladies. Keep it in respect to your father, if that really means something to you, and also that family. Like my family on my father's side, I mean, I'm happy to be in that family, and it's a name that I would always want to keep, and also my husband's family is a marvelous family, and I'm happy to add that to my name. So both of them should be able to be the property of a woman. She should be able to keep both names, her own name originally, and also her husband's name if she chooses to adopt it. But society just push you at the end for the woman to, for one reason or another, that you would have to eventually, either combine the two or just go ahead and pick your husband's name. But it's a wonderful topic. I would just suggest to young ladies that think about it, and even if you are choosing to do so, do it in a respectful way, not in a revenge way, but for the true reasons that you heard on this platform. You can go over the tape and see the reasons why. It helps keep a legacy, an important legacy, and also you adopt, a new name and also keep that legacy also going on. So that's the way I look at everything.
McDonald's.
That all we have?
I'm just tired. So. Well, when I got married, I kept my name and my husband's. But when we moved to the UK, I don't know why I took off my name, and I think it was just culture. I just felt that I'm now married to him, and so I must be subservient and I must honor him. After all, the Bible says, they use the scripture, you leave, what do you call it, your family, and you join to your husband, and therefore...
No, it didn't say the wife leaves.
Yeah, no, I mean culture as in...
It says the man leaves.
Yeah, I know, but no, I know.
So if there's anybody to lose, if you want to really be scriptural,
No, what I mean is...
it is him who is supposed to leave his father and mother.
What I mean is culture says you leave your family home. Culture tells you leave
Culture,
yes,
not Bible, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So you leave that, you pack your bags and you go and join your husband. Therefore, everything you now take on your husband's name. So I did. I took it off when I came to the UK. I just removed it and started. But anyway, on a serious note, this particular topic has made me really begin to even think more deeply concerning everything concerning my life, and it made me realize how you just take on anything and everything. We're just Obamas, anything that you're told, you just go with the flow. You don't really think about stuff. And hence, I'm just processing everything that everybody said, and I'm just thinking, very deeply in how I want to create my own world, and not let the world create my world for me. So I'm just thinking very deeply about everything that everybody said, and seeing how I can create my own world, really. That's hence my quietness at the moment, because it's a very interesting and very, I've seen some comments here, but I guess Maiwa or Julie would read them. Some very negative comments that are coming forth out of this discussion. Yeah.
Really, negative comments. I'm interested in that. Let me see.
Where's that one? That's mine. I can see it.
I'm just going to it quickly.
So, Pastor, what do you say about that?
Oh, I like when comments is also not so good. Like, I think that everybody have right to say what he think, but real life is something.
Sorry, somebody saying here.
Yeah,
I can just imagine I get married to one of Dangote's daughter now, and I ask her to change her name. I'm sure he will be ready to take over.
When we talk now about change the name, when a woman is going to marriage, it's not real about change the name that we are talking about. We are talking about real life. We are talking about honor to our father, for example, because name of father that I have, it's not just 7 letters in my passport. It's history. It's every day of my tears of my father when he grew me up. It's not about more of name. We are just talking about how we connect this name with our history, with our father, and we are not looking only on 7 letters that we have to change in our passport when we are going to marriage. And, it's about my life. Not just, for example, I have surname, Kolada. It's not about only these 7 letters. It's about 20, 30 years of my life before. And if the man who go to marriage me look only and see only these 7 letters and not my 20, 30 years before, why I have to give my life to hands of person that don't recognize 20 and 30 years that I lived before. If the man that asked me to marry him don't recognize my parents, their tears, so what pressure, what treasure I am for him. So
No treasure.
yeah, I'm not treasure for him, because it's not about 7 letters of my surname. It's about my life. So when we are talking now about surnames, change surnames, okay, it's right if I will not change, or it's well right if I will change. So we are not talking about 7 letters. We are talking about our lives now. Don't see only letters now. And this is more important. What we are talking about. So I think that the story behind of Pastor Sunday wife and his, that when he said don't change if you don't want, because she felt that it's not only these 4 letters of her surname is about now, but it's about her feeling of Pastor Bossi, about connection with her father, 20 and more years that she had every day. If you count how many days it was in 20 and more years, every day of life. Just think about this. So Pastor Sunday, he felt her connection with father that gave her this surname. So, and he let know Pastor Bossi, don't worry. I am your connection with your father, and what is important for you, let it be like this. Let it will be important. I recognize the importance of your feelings with your future, with your family. So Pastor Sunday, he recognized that under these 4 letters is a big history and big relationship and
Strong
investments in the personality of his wife. So it's about life. And behind of everything we are talking here is there is story, there is life, there is importance. We are not talking just like something about traditions here. We are talking about lives. And sometimes we are looking on traditions and we don't see any more lives. We don't see any more personalities. So what is important for you?
Letter kills.
Personality, human being, or tradition. So maybe we need to make some innovations based of our values, real values and life.
Yeah.
And don't fight here for traditions. So I think we are clever people here, and everyone that watch us on live broadcast, you're clever. Just all of us need a little bit start to think more deeply about life. Thank you, Pastor, for this very interesting story.
Really change our minds.
Oh, you want to do a comment? Okay.
Comment is not. Do you want me to read comments?
Oh, we're just
Comments.
going to.
I have something to comment.
Okay.
I think that if you want to develop the same way of thinking as I want to develop the same way of thinking, to be thinking out of box, to be thinking wider than any other person around me, not around me, like, because I know that most of people, they are going with traditions. Like, if I want to be extraordinary person, I need to learn thinking. And maybe this is a very, very good reason to join tomorrow the summit that will be going on 2 o'clock Kiev time and 12 o'clock UK time and Nigerian time, so that you can know the steps how to develop the way of thinking, because this is the reason Pastor is able to think wider, and this is the reason he can notice those details and make different decisions from what other people, from decisions that other people are doing. So you're invited.
Well, there you have it, everyone. Reasons to change or not change your name.
Maybe you share your opinion.
Oh, well, I don't know what to say because I don't really have a strong feeling towards this subject. So I guess it's food for thought for me, but I'm not really thinking too hard about it because I don't think I've even really decided about marriage yet. So, yeah, I mean, if it were up to me, if I were to recreate the world, I would make it a law that when you choose to get married, you guys have to first agree on a last name for yourselves, and that will be your first test of whether your marriage is going to work. If you can agree on a name, then maybe you're starting off on the right foot. So that would be me creating my own Dr. Seuss type of world. But other than that, I think I should just ponder what has been said today. Oh. Yep, so, yeah, it's been great, you guys. Thanks for joining us here on Pastor Sunday's page, and we will see you again tomorrow. It's late here, so we're going to go to bed. And, yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye.
Today.
Oh, today.